Welcome, one and all, whoever may be watching this, part 24, Tides of Numenera. Alright, so really, we can talk to all of the remaining people, which I guess we can do while we're here, and then we need to interact with this beautiful cat statue, and then I guess we can move on out of here. It's not a big area, so that's kind of why I'm taking my time with it and just sort of having a look at everything. The man looks nice enough and seems unassuming at best, but, and this is the strangest feeling, it's almost as if he doesn't exist. You try to focus on him, a sense of dread builds in you. You are not afraid exactly, but you know you aren't safe. You'll be wanting my name. It's been long since I spoke it. Let's see. How about you call me Fens? No, that's terrible. Hang on, he starts muttering. Finsk? Foens? Phoenix. Yes, that's it. Phoenix. Call me Phoenix. He steps forward and puts a hand on your shoulder. You have come here, perhaps you obey the call of the tombs and give me what I need. I tell you, I need answers. Someone gave me a note. It said to come here and I would find my answers. I would find the truth, but I can't understand this note. His eyes burn literally, though his face seems untouched. What use is power if I cannot understand? What is the purpose of my power if I cannot see? Ask me, I do not know. Does she know? Of course not, but perhaps her questions can lead us both to knowledge. Can I see the note? I might be able to shed some light on it. He slows. Ask me of wisdom, and I may grant it to you.
Making a note.
If you can show me that you know, then I will share my knowledge with you. So let us talk. You will ask me your questions, and with them you will share your insights. Ask our questions? He rubs his chin and stares intently at Phoenix. You don't want our answers, do you? I want your wisdom. Tell me about yourself. I have decided. My name is Phoenix. He says the name as though tasting a new wine. He holds up his hand and for a moment you can see light fading through it. I am a seeker. Is that how one would say it? Yes, I am a seeker. It is wisdom. Wisdom I seek. He closes his eyes and starts laughing. All the things I've found. His eyes snap open. The structures of the world is not as you imagine. What you see and feel is nothing more than the varied interactions of fundamental forces that apply rules to subsequent large pieces. Those pieces become what we call matter, what we call meat, what we call reality. He reaches out to touch your shoulder and his hand passes through you and you feel nothing. He reaches out again and this time his touch is cold, it is fire, it is acid and starshine. But you are undamaged. Enlightenment comes from within, he whispers and begins to cackle. Or does it come from without? Can't it come from both within and without? It can, his eyes gleam. Find answers within, let another show you the path. Both lead to surprising destinations if you let them. Why don't you remember your name? Names are a construct of consciousness, but is there some fundamental importance to them, or to consciousness itself? If so, is life also important if it has no consciousness? How would it know? Yes, although the importance is what we make it. So, a self-assigned importance. What makes consciousness so special that it can determine its worth? I have seen a world of crystal life that built greater things than the ninth world without consciousness. Why should a mind grant itself a special prize for its appreciation of itself? He waves a hand in dismissal. Oh, he doesn't like me. Are you from this world? He pauses, frowning. It is unfamiliar to me, the lines, the curves, the structures, but it is like a poor sketch of the world I remember. I see textures, its strokes, and I see the medium on which it is drawn, but I can lift the sketch and see the truth beneath it. I do not know my origins. What are you doing here? I seek. I was given a note, a strange note, a note that told me to come here and that I would find the answers I need. Something about him pulses, an almost subsonic beat, and you stagger slightly. Anger creases his brow. I hold it, and I study it. I read it, yet I do not understand it. He points a finger that circles through the colors of the rainbow. So how do I learn it? Have you studied it in different spectra? I had not considered that. He pulls a scrap of engraved synth from his pocket, and you see a rainbow of light that flashes across his eyes. But no, it is no use. Nothing changes. Have you had any trouble from the cultists here? He smiles. Trouble? Not for me. They have come for me many times. They do not leave. The fact that he stands in the middle of the valley, alone and safe, supports his story. Can I see the note that brought you here?
Making a note.
You have the mind of a seeker, not merely an explorer. Yes, you may take the note. He passes you the piece of engraved synth. Return if you are able to find my answer. Farewell. Okay, so we've got this. This ragged synth square is engraved with scrolls and symbols, presumably some kind of writing, but it is mostly unfamiliar to you. Phoenix says the note told him to come to the Valley of Dead Heroes, and that he would find the answers he needs. He gave it to you because he found no answers, but he is not so far. He hopes you will find them in his place. Although the engraved symbols are mostly incomprehensible, 4 numbers are written in the truth, 1 on each line of text. 1, 5, 3, and 5. I wonder if that's some kind of combination. Didn't Makina gave us some kind of combination at some point? I forget what that was. Maybe if we talk to this dude up here, he seemed to know stuff that was going on in there. Alright, let's look at the cat.
I'm going.
And then maybe we'll move on. Sorry, 3 blobbed, whatever your name is.
Those tattoos hurt? They look like they probably hurt.
Does your glow hurt you?
Is this one of your riddles? If so, your riddles hurt too.
Of course.
Rising before you is a tall and tapering obelisk crowned with the carved stone head of some elegant sharp-eared animal with 6 eyes. Wrapping around the obelisk are bands of engraved hieroglyphs. Let's look at the hieroglyphs, I guess. Except for 4 stylized depictions of the same sharp-eared animal that tops the obelisk, the pictographs make no sense to you. Let's look at the head. The carved mounted head on top of the obelisk stares out into the distance, its eyes empty and mournful. The base of the obelisk is smooth, untouched by any weathering or other troubles that seem to have eroded much of the other ruins in this place. It sits in a pool of acrid liquid. The liquid smells foul and caustic, but the obelisk appears undamaged. It's unclear how much more of the obelisk lies beneath the pool. The statue's head seems to move until its eyes stare directly into yours. They are still mournful, but no longer empty. A faint beckoning glimmer shines within. You turn to your companions, but they don't seem to notice that anything strange has happened. I wonder if this will take me into my mind. A wave of dizziness overcomes you as you gaze into the statue's eyes. You are no longer facing the obelisk. Indeed, you are no longer human. The tail of the dead lark in your mouth drags along the ground as you creep through the dense foliage to the temple. You peek out through the gandu fronds and see the old monk, Nimue, shucking hayopods on the weathered steps. You pad out to greet him, and he grins toothlessly at the sight of you. "There she is," he says, chuckling. "That's my brave hunter, and with a gift. How thoughtful." You drop the lark at his feet and arch your back as he strokes your fur and adjusts your collar. "But your work isn't done, sweet girl. There's larks aplenty in the grain room. Bring me a dozen more before I finish these hayos, and I'll give you your favorite nibble." A dozen larks is nothing to a hunter of your skill. You pad off to the granary, ready for battle. The obelisk appears, and you realize your joy was remembered only. I mean, will it show me anything else if I stare into its eyes? You watch from the undergrowth, terrified as the followers of the bird god pull down the stone statues of the great ones and chase the monks from the burning temple. "Heathen!" cries their leader. "Worshippers of false gods! Kill them all!" A birdman sees you. He shrieks, "A satyr! We must kill it! The monks hide their souls in the little beasts. If we don't wipe them all out, the monks will return as strong as ever." You turn and bound into the jungle as a mob of angry men crash in after you, and the obelisk fills your vision again. Is there more to see? You watch from a low branch as grave robbers tear up the stones of the ruined temple's nave, looking for the old catacombs. Their leader sits on the stone head of a fallen statue, patting it and stroking its pointed ears. He laughs. "This is what the old monks worshipped before the Jarudi wiped them out. The prince of the Setol. They say his big ears hear all the secrets ever whispered within earshot of any of those six-eyed pests." You hiss at the insult. He looks up. "Oh, there's one now. Hasn't been a monk alive around here to tame a satyr in 100 years. He chirps at you. "Come here, little one. Let me see that jeweled collar of yours, won't you? Looks like lovely workmanship." You give him a disdainful look and climb further up the tree as the obelisk returns. I mean, I'll keep doing this, sure. You watch from under a gandu bush as a father and mother drop double armloads of springwood in the middle of the temple ruins, then sit and mop their brows as their 3 children begin stripping the stalks of their bark. "Plenty to build without here, at least," says the father. "And we'll need all we can get," says the mother. "Without a perimeter fence to keep out the boars and the skull hounds, we'll be dead in a week." "What about the larks?" one of the children cries. The father laughs. "Pray to Gunni, daughter. Maybe he'll send one of his servants for us. He's the prince of the Centaur, you know." Your ears prick up. "At least you are wanted. It's time to hunt."
I'm ready to pick my path.
The eyes of the statue fade, though they do not go out entirely, as though it has divested itself of a responsibility. Why it did so remains a mystery. Cool. Whatever that's worth. I mean, we got some experience out of that, so no complaints. Alright,
All right.
let's leave this place. I just want to see if he can help us in any way with the note. I haven't. I want to talk to you about something else. Yeah, no, okay.
I'm there, in the shadows.
Stunted and piebald with a large hairless head, this humanoid reminds you of a court jester, except that his wide violet eyes sparkle with cunning and intelligence, giving the impression there is much going on inside his large dome. Who are you? You can't be here. Why did you come? Several people sit bound and beaten along the far wall surrounded by corpses. At second glance, some of those bound may themselves be dead as well. The man steps closer, lowering his voice to a growl. Well, answer me. Oh, I know Clinker. The muttering cultist who welcomed you in the valley steps forward. She is a new arrival, Motley. We came across her on our hunt. Ah, he addresses you again. Well, you should know the necropolis is closed to outsiders. You aren't welcome here. It's closed to all, in fact. Damn that woman. What's going on here? He looks around, comprehension dawning on his face as he takes in the room and its contents. Ah, it's not what you think. His mouth widens in an ugly smile. We were just defending ourselves, trying to reclaim what small part of this world fate has seemed fit to cede us. It never would have come to this if only we'd have someone to help us explain.
Making a note.
He gestures to the open corridor. We're worshippers, you see. There is a terminal down there that provides access to the tombs, but this memorialist, he spits at the woman behind him, has placed a whisper lock on it. Without the code, we cannot enter the tombs and join our Lord in a theory in worship. She's rather narrow-sighted and doesn't see the value in what we do. If we regain access to the gate, we can show her firsthand. He smiles. The effect is not reassuring. It would be better to release them in Lord Inafiri's presence, but any end is justified. She mutters to you, Skist. We need access to the terminal if we want to reach Mia Leveste. We need to get that whisper lock code. There must be some way we can solve this peaceably. The time for peaceable solutions is over. The gate awaits, and we must answer its call at any cost. Their lives are forfeit whether we have the code or not, but we must have it. If you don't care about the cost, then let me try. You can still get the code from them if I fail. He rubs his chin with one fat hand. You make a good point. We can keep killing them while we wait. All right, you have my permission to speak to the prisoners. If you can get the code from them, we can end this charade. Tarry, and more will die each day until either you or they give us what we need. Oh gosh, this is going to be another one of those situations where if I rest, someone gets murdered. He turns to the woman bound on the floor. The code is all we want, after all. The rest of this does not become any of us. Right, okay. So,
Yes.
let's have a look around, I guess. This corpse is curled pitifully on its side as if anticipating another kick to the ribs. Their eyes are opened in horror at whatever happened to them. Whoever this person was in life, they are unrecognizable now. The combination of starvation, beatings, and torture has rendered all but their eyes unreadable. There's an indentation on the middle finger of their right hand that might once have borne a ring, but that too is gone. With 2 careful fingers, you pull his eyelids closed and shut his horrified mouth. Yeah, it doesn't quite work like that. Thank you. Her gaze lingers on the corpse, but the gratitude in her voice was heartfelt. Alright, we're not robbing any of them, because I feel like this is how we can win her over. This middle-aged woman sits stoically, her hands bound in front of her legs. The sleeves of her robes have fallen from her wrists, and you catch the sight of yellow and purple bruising above the lacerations from her tightly cinched bonds. Streams of tears have carved channels down her dust-covered face. She looks up at you, her eyes the color of the seas around Sagus. 2 more tears slip silently down her cheeks. She turns away from you. Has she come to save us? To end these pointless deaths? No, probably not. Who are you? She does not answer. Instead, she turns away, tears dripping from her chin. Why are you crying? She shakes her head almost imperceptibly, but says nothing. Do you know the passcode to the Whisper Lock?
I'll remember that.
Finally, she looks up at you and speaks, her voice hoarse as though she has been shouting for days. You're one of them. I will not speak to you nor give you the passcode. Even the clue, the name of the central prince, is too much to give her. Is the passcode Gwynny by any chance? Her face becomes the color of ash. Her mouth opens and closes in a wordless stammer. It takes a moment for her to collect herself. No, she finally says. Of course not, that's ridiculous. But her voice is shaking and her eyes plead with you not to tell. Farewell. Yeah, Humph is right. I figured that one out quickly. I guess that is why I had to sit there and listen to the cat, but I don't know if I should give him the information. This alluring woman looks up, white hair brushing her shoulders. She allows a slight smile to pull at the corners of her mouth. Her face is confusing, for though her skin has the tightness of youth, her eyes pierce you with the wisdom of 100 years. She rests her hands on the daggers at her hips, perhaps waiting to see if you have the courage to make the first move. Who are you? Jeline of Underhouse Demath, she says, then blinks. Sorry, habit. Demath has gone into the dark like all the others. I'm just Jaylin these days. Now what brought that on? You mentioned an underhouse. What's that? I can't believe I told you my full name, she says with a rueful chuckle. My croft father would have me whipped. Her hands close over her daggers. I come from a world besides this one, from a city in the Hollow Core, ruled by 16 underhouses built into the walls. Then, she frowns, counting silently. A few decades back, I woke to screams, and not one or two like you'd get from the lower city from time to time, but hundreds. She grins, but there is an uneasiness in it. I'm getting soft. That's the only explanation. I found out that shadows were pouring out from the walls of the world. The underhouses, the people inside, were just melting into it, screaming. Staring past you, she continues. A few of us made it out through a portal into the bloom. The shadows wouldn't follow. I think the bloom scared even them, she grins. At any rate, I made a living for a while plying the family trade, but there was no joy in it. Not until I found the Endless Gate and they gave me a reason to work. Interesting. I don't know whether I want to keep talking to her or not.